Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Build. I'm Carrie Justick, and today we're chatting with someone very exciting who's just beginning her reign as Miss USA. After being crowned on Monday night, Nebraska's Sarah Rose Summers will be sitting right here to catch up with us about the pageant and what she has in store for the next year. Before we bring her out, let's take a look at her crowning moment.
Nebraska and North Carolina. One of you is only a moment away from being awarded the crown. Now, if for any reason the winner is unable to fulfill her duties, the first runner-up will take her place.
Oh, goosebumps. Both of you are strong, beautiful, and deserving women, but there can only be one winner. Miss USA 2018 is Nebraska!
Congratulations, Nebraska! Nebraska, take your first walk as the new Miss USA.
And now we have her right here on stage, Sarah Rose, the Miss USA.
Hello, hello.
I'm sure that moment never gets old to rewatch.
Well, it's only been 2 days, so absolutely not. I haven't even watched the full pageant back yet, so
Really?
it's on my list of things to do eventually when I get settled down in my new home in New York City.
Yes, welcome home.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, I live with the Miss Universe,
Okay,
Demi. I'm not sure if you've gotten to meet her yet.
I haven't met her,
You
but
need to. She's the sweetest person in the whole world. The universe. She's the
so
sweetest in the universe.
already good roomies.
She had written me a sign that said, "Welcome home, Sarah Rose," and it was just too sweet. So it really is homey. It's way more homey than I expected.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So you were just saying how that moment is something you kind of don't remember
Yes.
being there for it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you are officially Miss USA, how are you adjusting to that title?
I just can't stop smiling. My cheeks are hurting because I'm so genuinely happy and grateful for everything. I have just taken it all in. I haven't responded to you guys. I think I have like 700 text messages from everyone I've ever met since I was a child. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for every single one of them, but I've only slept, I think, 3 hours the last 2 nights because I've been packing, unpacking, getting ready. But I'm trying to live in the moment. So in the days when I'm driving from interview to interview, I'm absorbing all that's going on in the city because there's so much going on. Yeah. And I'll get back to text messages and phone calls and all the things when I can. Also, social media. I need to start saying thank you on social media because everyone has been so kind.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot because searching your name on Twitter and everything kind of comes up, so you have a lot to
Oh, you've already done your research, have you?
All good
All
things.
good? Okay, good.
Yes,
Let's try to keep
definitely.
it that way.
So, of course, seeing that moment, that's what everybody saw. That's what the world saw, is you rising to the top, getting Miss USA. But where did this all come from? Where did you begin? How?
Yes.
Pageants?
Okay. I am from a small town called Papillion, Nebraska. It's a suburb of Omaha, and I'd say Omaha's our largest city in Nebraska. And I mean, my dad works downtown in Omaha, so it's only about 30 minutes away, but I'm definitely not a city girl. Yeah. I went to college in Texas, so I'm a little bit used to this city, but back when I was about 10 years old, I was really shy. I mean, we'd go to Target and get a compliment at the checkout, and I would not make eye contact or say thank you with the sweet lady. I was so shy. And now here I am interviewing with you on the stage as Miss USA. But I got a postcard in the mail inviting me to compete in a pageant. 12 and under couldn't wear any makeup. There's no swimsuit competition. And I said, "Oh, I want to do this, parents." And they said, no. And then I brought it up again And we did it. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into, and now I'm here.
That's amazing. And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
And so for you, for people that don't know, you are the first Miss Nebraska
Yes,
crowned
guys.
as Miss USA, which is
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you.
How does that feel?
Shocking. It's an honor. Amazing. I'm trying to think of all the specific words that I felt. It's so hard because I went in so excited to compete, excited to meet the girls, excited to talk and chat with the selection committee. That's how I think of the interview portion. I don't think of it as going in and interviewing. It's a chat for a dream job, you know?
Best way to think of it.
Yes, exactly. And I had a blast. And I got to talk to them about who I am, why I want this job that I have now. And when I won, it was a shock. I had no expectation of winning. All of these girls are more than capable of this and qualified. They're beautiful. They're intelligent. They all have different causes that they're passionate about. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea if I was going to not make the top 15 or make the top 5. So the night kept flowing. I was in the 15, and I looked over to Hennessis. She's Florida. We're friends. Love her so much. Her heart is just as sweet as her beauty, you guys. Yeah, and I leaned over and I said, I don't think I'm going to make the 10. That wasn't my strongest. And she said, oh, you'll be fine. And now here we are. So you never know. Don't doubt yourself.
Is there, in that moment, when you realize maybe you didn't have the best performance, what do you do? If you said something that maybe came out the wrong way?
You're just a person. I mean, that's what we are. We're all people. We all make mistakes. We all sometimes flub up our words. Yeah. But I am a proponent of just being you. And so I was having fun up there. I said, all right, if 15's all I get, then 15's all I get. But I'm going to dance to this music while I'm standing up here. And if you're in an interview, and like you said, if you say something wrong or they ask you a question and you don't know it, my best advice is to just say you don't know. Google it later. Google's a beautiful tool. Mm-hmm. Yahoo Search is a beautiful tool. But don't try to fake it, because you're interviewing for your dream job that's a whole year. And if you're trying to put on a facade for a weekend long during a pageant or 2 weeks, well, for example, we compete at Miss USA for 2 weeks. And if you're putting on some fake front and you win, then what are you going to do? Pretend you're that person for a whole year? That's not realistic. That's not fun at all. So be you.
I love that. I could definitely tell while you were on stage that
Thank you.
You were very genuine and sincere, and I was rooting for you the whole time.
Oh, thank you. Wow.
So Kára McCullough was actually in this chair not too long ago.
Yes.
And she was talking about giving up the crown. And in that, she talked about building upon the sisterhood.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you what the Miss USA sisterhood is all about. And I know you've spoken so highly about all of the other girls. So
yes, absolutely. So I've spoken about all of the other 50 of us that competed. So there's 51 of us, and I got really close to the girls. We had a New York trip, so I visited here in, I think it was February, for New York Fashion Week, and I met over half the girls there. And that was such a sweet experience, because then I went into Miss USA with already established friendships. Mm-hmm. I mean, Arizona USA took my headshots for my autograph cards. Oh, really? She does photography for fun, and it's a hobby of hers. So that's the sisterhood, and it's in no way mean or catty. It's just we build each other up because we all have a common goal of helping others, making an impact in different ways. And as far as the Miss USA sisterhood and Kára, I remember I'm sinking into the fact that I'm Miss USA a little bit every moment.
Don't feel like you're quite there yet, but you're there.
Right, exactly. So I met Kristen Dalton's mom, and she's a Miss USA that I've looked up to for years. She's so genuine, very open about her life with the world and her faith and everything like that. And she came up and told me she was so excited to meet me, and I said, I'm excited to meet you, girl. What is this? This is not real life. So it's amazing. I'm just excited to soak up all of their wisdom that they're willing to share with me so that I can make the most out of this year and learn from any mistakes that they may have made.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, what's the best advice any of the former Miss USAs have given you?
Well, I haven't really talked a lot to former title holders yet. I coached with Susie and Shandy, and those are both 2 former Miss USAs, and they just always say, be your authentic self, kind of like I was just saying a second ago. But the best advice I've been given so far as Miss USA didn't come from a former title holder yet. I'm sure they have lots. But my dad, my sweet, sweet dad, is the most humble man that I know. And before I left, he said, keep your feet steady on the ground, because I'm a Nebraska girl, born and raised, and now I'm living in the city, and things change really fast. But goal, stay humble, stay my true self.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So to me, it felt like the moment that I knew you were going to get crowned was
tell me.
the last interview question. And so for anybody who missed it, they asked if you were on your way to a march and you had a poster and a pen, what would you write? And you said, speak your voice.
Yes.
And then you continued to then say, listen to others.
Yes.
And there was a huge reaction from the audience. Why do you think that was so impactful?
I think it was so impactful because we're living in a country that is so divided. You turn on the news, you turn on the regular TV, and it's about politics, even in our other television shows. It's so prevalent right now, and we're really divided, and politics right now are really polarizing. And I think right now we need to listen to each other, not just hear each other, but have conversations about why you think the way you do. What experiences have you had in your life? What have you learned that maybe I haven't? Mm-hmm. Who have you met that made you think this way? And have a conversation about it. This is why I feel this way. Why do you feel that way? And listen to their answers genuinely. You don't have to agree, but you have to be friendly. Why not?
Definitely. And I think that clearly spoke to a lot of people.
Thank you.
And you also touched upon, as all of the contestants, you touched upon the Me Too movement, which I think was really powerful.
Yes.
But a lot of people have had some criticism. So I wanted to know what you felt about reconciling the fact that you are talking about such serious topics like sexual assault, while you also are participating in a beauty pageant.
Right. I don't think that the two necessarily cannot coexist. Absolutely not. I am so proud to be a part of an organization that did bring that to light during the segment, because it is a movement, not just for a moment. And we are all so hyper aware of it, as we should be. And I think it's definitely, as of right now, the most impactful social movement that's happened during my lifetime. And it needs to continue, because there should just be zero tolerance in the workplace, in schools, for these sexual assaults, sexual harassment. And if you also watched my friend, Kaylin, North Carolina, she has a specific personal story that I'm very, very grateful. I have not had to face that on my own personally, but she has, and she spoke to that on a national stage to the world, to the selection committee, to the audience, in a gown. She told her story. And what's so amazing is that this platform, she could have reached someone sitting on their couch in New Jersey or Nevada, who knows, and that was wondering, wow, should I speak about what happened to me or not? And hopefully that inspired that person to do so and get help, because there's no reason to go on like that.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear you so supportive of her as well. I know you guys are...
We're so close.
Friends.
Yes,
yeah.
She's actually the first person I called after winning. I called her...
Even though she was right next to you.
Well, right. Well, I got swooped away really quickly, did my first press conference, all the fun stuff, got to see my family really briefly, and then I had about 25 to 30 friends and family that were in Shreveport supporting me, so I didn't have necessarily anyone that I had to call back home. So I picked up the phone at about 2:30 when everybody departed, 2:30 in the morning, and called Kaylin to say, hey, how's it going? When are you going to come visit me? That type of thing.
That's awesome. And obviously the organization that you've talked about that you're so passionate about is NEDA, which is the National Eating Disorder Association. Yes. So what work do you plan to do with them as Miss USA?
So what I did as Miss Nebraska USA is I spoke to a couple sorority chapters about the prevalence of eating disorders, how warning signs, how to combat them also. One person every 60 seconds is dying from an eating disorder. That's not just anorexia. That's not just bulimia. It's not only overeating. There's so many that are so prevalent that need to be talked about. I am a certified child life specialist, and so I work in children's hospitals. And on one unit in one of my rotations, they had an inpatient unit. And the youngest I've ever seen is a 6-year-old boy. So it's not all females that are stuck in their phone. There's no specific solution, but it needs to be talked about more. And with the Miss USA Confidently Beautiful slogan, that is one thing that I think it fits so perfectly, because it's a mental illness that needs to be brought to light on a larger platform, and I am honored to hopefully be doing that on a nationwide spectrum now. It's amazing, and just being able to be a source of that truth for young girls and men and everyone that it pertains to.
Yeah, definitely. And then you just said you are a child's life specialist, and I know that's something that you're very passionate as well.
I am.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with that?
Absolutely, please. So a lot of people don't know what child life is, and I didn't know. When I was 5 years old, I was hospitalized at the Children's Hospital in Omaha. Short time, very grateful for that. But I remember that my parents were really, really scared. My dad is never scared, and he was scared. And I remember that. That sticks with you, those emotions. And so going through high school, I volunteered at children's hospitals, and I donated blankets to children to brighten their room, things like that. And I always knew that I wanted to work in a children's hospital setting. So I went to college, and I thought I was going to do PR marketing. So that was my first degree, because I was going to do PR at a children's hospital. Then I started volunteering at the Children's Hospital in Fort Worth, and I was introduced to Child Life. And their job is they're the liaison between the children and families and the medical team. So they get to help the children and families answer all of their questions when the medical team isn't speaking to their level, putting medical jargon in child-friendly terms. I get to play with them, to distract them, play therapy, all of those types of activities that children would typically have outside of the hospital environment. That's part of my job, is bringing that normalcy and helping them through it, because if you're emotionally distressed, you're not going to heal as well in your body either. And that's my job in a nutshell.
Sounds great.
And it is very fun. It can be exhausting at days. No job is easy, but part of my job is helping with preparations for procedures and explaining diagnoses, explaining to siblings that cancer is not contagious. Things like, just kids have some crazy questions. Yeah. And I'm glad they ask them. That's one thing that I love about children, is they're so blunt and they just speak their mind. But as Miss USA, I'm hoping to be able to not necessarily do the procedure support, but go visit some kiddos in the hospitals around the nation and just spend time with them and distract them from their pain for a little while.
That's amazing.
Thank
so
you.
I love your platforms, but lastly, before we head to audience Q&A,
Yes.
what are you looking forward to about life in New York?
Everything. You guys, breakfast is my favorite meal in the whole day. And I learned yesterday that brunch is a verb here. So I'm so excited to go brunching. So excited. And I'm excited just to explore it all. I had a new sweet friend explain all the layout of New York to me, because I have no idea, but I'm gonna get it soon. And I'm excited to explore. You can see Central Park out my window, and being born and raised in Nebraska, we have 2 buildings. That's our skyline. So I'm used to green, trees, flowers. So I'm excited. I'm sure I'll go on plenty of runs in the park.
That's amazing.
Thank
We're
you.
definitely excited to have you here. And if you need a brunch buddy, hit me up.
Yes, you've got to tell me all your favorite local places to go.
Yeah, you'll get quite an extensive list.
Yes.
So now we're going to head over to audience Q&A. We have 3 questions.
Hi.
What are some big misconceptions about being in pageantry, and specifically about being in the Miss USA pageant?
I think some really large misconceptions are that the swimsuit competition is irrelevant or outdated or sexist. I like to tell people, I chose to be up there. I chose to stand on that stage, just like my friends chose to be on the soccer field. It's an activity that I found that I'm passionate about, and it's a platform unlike anything else. I also think that with Nita and with Confidently Beautiful, the swimsuit portion is so highly relevant, because we're talking about the issues of social media and over-editing photos to produce unrealistic expectations of beauty. Well, when you're standing on a stage and you're on national television, that's real life. And I'm just grateful to have that platform to be able to speak to people through. And this opportunity is unlike anything else. Other misconceptions about Miss USA, I suppose, would be the friendships that we already kind of touched on. Girls are not mean to each other. That's all for TV. we really empower each other, and friendships are through and through made through these types of activities because we're like-minded. We have goals. We love what we do, and we love each other really well.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Second question.
Hi there.
Hi.
So since winning the competition, how has your career trajectory changed?
Great question. I finished my clinical rotations in December from OU Children's in Oklahoma City. So I was living there. I did 640-hour clinical rotations in the emergency department and the cardiothoracic surgery. And then I was able to take my certification exam. So I sat for my big ol' certification exam and after winning Miss Nebraska USA, before Miss USA in April. So I was studying and preparing all at the same time. And I passed. Thank goodness. And so now I'm certified. Thank goodness I don't have to worry about that. Thank you, guys. And I was planning, because that just happened in April, and I left for the pageant at the beginning of May. So I was planning on looking for jobs after Miss USA, but I have one now. So we'll see. I'll be certified for quite a while, and it really is my passion, and I plan on keeping up my skills, whether that be communication or empathy, ability to communicate through these tough situations by being Miss USA and still immersing myself in those scenarios. Yeah, thank you.
Any chance you'll get a job in New York after?
Who knows? There are some amazing hospitals. I was actually just talking with Ryan Seacrest about, he has his Seacrest Foundation, and within that, they have Seacrest Studios that they plant radio stations within children's hospitals, and child life specialists utilize them to go and have, say, an adolescent record a song they wrote, or recording a heartbeat and putting it to the mom's singing, different things like that. It's beautiful. And so I was talking to him about that. And the closest one is in Philadelphia, I think, CHOP. Yeah. And so maybe I'll be able to go there. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we won't lose you to Nebraska that quick. And then we have one more.
Hi.
Hi.
So I read that you won the Miss Teen USA also. Did you win? Did that experience help with this competition, and did you know that you were going to compete at Miss USA at that time?
So when I think I was a junior in high school, I competed at Miss Teen USA. I was Miss Nebraska Teen USA, and I won that one on my first go-round. It was a shock. I was not expecting to win that one. And then we went to Miss Teen USA, and I really had high expectations for myself. I was young, and that is such a large task and goal to endure at such a young age. And I really grew a lot because you grow from failure. And at that point, I didn't know that I had succeeded so much through friendships and growth and relationships and growth personally and my confidence. But at that point in time, I was so young, I thought I failed because I didn't even make top 15. And so I did not place at Miss Teen USA, and now I'm here as Miss USA because I've grown so much, and I think it was 6 years ago. So I did not ever know that I was going to be competing at Miss USA, but it was always a goal, and I wrote it down. That's one of my keys. Write down your goals. Write down your steps. They're more likely to happen that way.
Just started doing that, so
yes.
If it worked for you.
Yes.
For us.
Do it. I'm so serious. The little things, like I'm going to get up and do X in the morning. Write them down. Tell someone also if you want to be extra bold. They can help be your accountability buddy.
And now you have your blingy sash and your gorgeous crown backstage that I'm probably going to steal.
I think there's pink in this sash, and I just noticed it.
It's gorgeous. So we wish you the best for this year. I cannot wait to see what you do.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Give it up for
Thank
Miss
you
USA
guys
one more time.
Thank you guys all so much for your meaningful questions too. I really appreciate them.